Hello and welcome to this short introduction to online teacher interviews. Whilst written for an audience of drama teachers, there are tips that would apply to all specialisms. My name's Quin and I teach in a large comprehensive academy in South London. I've been on the interview panel on many occasions recruiting drama teachers both in person and more recently online. There's lots to cover here, and if you have any particular questions or would like further ideas for online teaching, then follow Quin Golding on Twitter, and there you can see a link to my blog. Understanding the school will help you know if it's the right fit. You'll also be more prepared to interview and have a lesson that connects to prior learning. Firstly, explore the school website, get to know their practices and philosophy. Read the previous Ofsted report and know the recommendations. Find the department pages and see the curriculum, extracurricular, and an idea of the ethos. Previous newsletters can also help in terms of seeing the annual events that happen and the projects they've been involved in. And this could be handy for conversations with staff, and you might find you've done similar things before. Preparation is now also about technology, and many of us can share stories of when video calls have gone wrong. And the next few steps will help you be seen in a better light and add to the overall quality of your lesson. When filming, you need to choose a plain background so that the focus is on you, and also wear a different colour to that backdrop. Seeing you clearly is going to be so important for the students and teachers on the video call, so lighting is essential. You don't need to spend anything to achieve a professional look. Use natural light if possible, either from the front or slightly side on. Use lamps to aid this. And avoid having bright light or windows directly behind you, as this can cast a shadow over your face. One adjustment I make is what Terry Wogan would call the golden rule of radio. Speak as if you're talking to one person. When I think of my favourite radio voices, it feels personal and directed. The usual well-projected oratory style can sound impersonal and distancing on film. Practice this on a video call with a friend and hear the quality of your microphone and the level you need to speak at. Stand up. So you're able to use gesture, you're able to use eye contact, and you're able to have that extra bit of energy. As you know from a normal lesson, a sat down lesson is very different from standing up. In some ways, interview lessons are very different online, but in many ways they're the same. And as with any technology, there's pedagogy that crosses over. Now, a big thing that I was surprised at and really encouraged by was seeing and feeling rapport. You can still build that with the students. Use praise, smile, use the camera even, and gesture, and those usual interactions that you normally do within a lesson. Now, another thing is a real bugbear for me, having seen so many interview lessons across the years, and that is to stick to the set task. So what specific outcome do they want from the lesson? And focus on achieving that. Don't go too far off piste. This is the way you're going to be measured and compared to the other candidates. So remember that. Another thing is to get into practical. So rather than a lengthy introduction with the teacher speaking for 10 minutes, go straight into something and then layer in the theory following this first practical task. The lesson is about what we see the students achieve, as well as seeing the knowledge and skills that you have. For anyone that's taught a live lesson, you'll know the dynamic is going to be very different. Ask a question and you may just hear silence. So cold call, and then they'll know who you're talking to. Finally, it's the big question, and this is a popular question asked in different schools, and that is, how did they make progress? So be prepared not only to answer this question verbally, but to illustrate it in the outcomes of the students in the lesson. It might be a text they know better, it might be a star they can apply better. If you can't see opportunities for progress in your planning, then take a closer look. Now we move on to tips for online drama. My first thing is to say, use the technology. You're working in a visual medium, so use what's available to you. One place to look is the fantastic award-winning director, Steve McQueen, who's known for Hunger and 12 Years a Slave. And there's a fantastic clip here that ties together all of the times he's used fingers or hands on film. And it's very poetic, and it illustrates a great deal about the characters and about the times. So how can you use this in a drama lesson? Well, most recently I've done a project where, with A Taste of Honey, we've taken different extracts of the script and we've filmed just the eyes, just the hands, just the mouth. It's almost like a Beckett film in a sense, where it's just an abstract isolation of a body part. But it can be really revealing. It can also work as a one-off. Where else can you go for ideas? Well, I'd say take a look at Every Frame a Painting, a really fantastically inventive YouTube series that analysed the filmic techniques of everyone from Lynn Ramsey to Buster Keaton. Physical work will be key, and I've seen really clever use of different roles within online interview lessons. You might have one person as the internal voice, another physicalising the reality, a third shows their fears, and a fourth shows their dreams. Without the usual small group collaboration, you will need to think about how they're going to rehearse. Are they going to be able to talk to each other? Is that group too large for them to do that? Whatever happens, modelling will be key to put them at ease and so that you can visualise those expectations. Another thing to think about is how the students engage in the lessons as they write. So you can use comments quite well. As you watch this piece, please write and set the question. Tell me one thing you know about the subject. And then you can build up with your follow-up questions. It allows for differentiation because you can see the level of response you're getting and then build up on that. You can also use quick polls. So have a multiple choice question on the board with ABC options, and then they simply write in that ABC. It's nice and quick. It allows you to check prior learning or to embed some learning that you've already done in the lesson. Another thing is exit tickets, and I've seen these used so well for reflection and for AFL. And it's similar to comments because if you set it up, let's say with something like Google Forms, you can see the responses as they come in. So you can actually ask them questions having seen the responses. The interview day is complete. You've received the news. The question that we might ask ourselves is, what if we either choose not to take that post or we are unsuccessful? Well, I would say to take the positives away from the situation and go again, because you will be successful. Get some support and guidance from university, from mentors, from your peer group, and also get in touch with people on Twitter. There's a really supportive environment out there in drama and across the educational community.